Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Bella Shaw. The Simi Valley Historical Society and Park District work hard to preserve history. Colleen Janssen joins us and she tells us that it's not Simi Valley, it's Simi. We've been pronouncing it wrong all these years?
Well, not everyone pronounces it wrong, but our historian, Pat Havens, works very hard to make sure people understand the correct pronunciation, Simi.
Simi,
Yes.
That's from an Indian name.
Yeah, Shemiji, for the villages that were, the village that was in Simi Valley for many, many, many years.
Okay, well now that we've got that straightened out, you're here to talk about the Strathearn Historical Park.
Yes, Strathearn Historical Park, there's quite a few different phases to it. Originally the Chumash people were there, and then the Spanish came. It was a Spanish land grant, the Rancho Simi, and the Chumash helped build the first building there, which has 3-foot thick adobe walls, and you can still see those. There's not too many adobe structures still in existence, but we have one. And after that, the Strathearn family moved to the area, and in 1892 built a beautiful Victorian home on the front of the adobe. So the adobe became their kitchen, so it stays nice and cool in the summer and warmer in the winter, and then they have their Victorian home for the rest of the house.
So they were a big Scottish prominent family that had acres and acres and acres.
Oh, thousands of acres in ranch land, and very prominent family in the community. And then some other buildings have been added to the site over the years. What's happened is as Simi has grown, some of the old buildings are scheduled for demolition. So what ends up happening is we either buy them or try to get them donated, move them down to the park, and then the Historical Society offers tours Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. You can get tours at the park, and they take people in the buildings, and you get to see the antiques and see the buildings. So we have things like the Wood Ranch barns. You hear about the area in Simi called Wood Ranch. There really was a Wood family, and we were able to obtain 2 of their barns. Those have been brought down there to the site. I say that like it's so easy to move them. That's a major production to move a gigantic barn. And then it's filled with antiques. We have the original public library. We have the old St. Rose of Lima church. It was actually a Presbyterian church when it was built in 1902. Then St. Rose of Lima used it until 1964. The church holds, I think, about 70 people. They had 1,500 families attending church in it.
They must have had all different
Well, they had speakers outside, and if you were late, you stood outside to hear the service. But we obtained it in 2002, so it was exactly 100 years. We were able to purchase it, and in August of 2002 had a big celebration to kick off the renovations that we did. And we tried to make it true to the original church. We found an article in the newspaper from 1902 that described what the church looked like, and so we tried to model what we did on that article.
Is that a popular place for people to get married now?
Yes, they can have weddings and other events. We have a gazebo for the larger weddings. They can have outdoor weddings, but if they want to have a little tiny one, they can have it in the church. It has a beautiful stained glass window. We have a colony house that was one of 12 prefab houses that were brought out in 1888 to start Simi Valley. And you don't imagine that back then you could buy a partially assembled house, have it shipped out by rail, put it all together, and you've got a home. And
sounds good to me.
We have one that people can tour. So what's actually happened is now we also have an apricot pitting shed from the Courier Ranch. So as each little building is added, our most recent acquisition is the Banyaga Barbershop. When people can come through there on our 5 acres, they basically feel like they're visiting a small town of Simi. And instead of having to drive all over town to see things, you can on 5 acres visit everything and find out about the history.
You're not going to run out of room, are you, Colleen?
Well, they might run out of things for us to buy and move down there. But it's really wonderful.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing it. Colleen Janssen, Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District. Good to see you as always. And thank you for joining us here on Local Edition. I'm Bella Shaw.